finally managed to transfer my defined contribution pension into my SIPP with Hargreaves Lansdown. In this video I'm going to tell you how I've done it, why I've done it, and some of the challenges I've had to overcome to actually do it. So if you've been following the channel at all, you'll know that I've got two pensions, one in a SIPP with HL or Hargreaves Lansdown. I've got another pension that is a defined contributions pension, which was the provider that when I worked at the bank, High Street Bank, they used that pension provider to hold my pension. I have been self-investing in that pension, but I've been very, very limited to the kind of investments I can put it in. So the reason why I wanted to transfer is because I wanted it over to my HL pension, because in my SIPP that I can access on the app. Very, very easy to communicate with the staff at HL as well. I've got an account manager that I'm constantly in touch with via email. Generally much easier to get hold of people and if I've got a problem. And the last thing I wanted was the original pension provider was an absolute nightmare to get hold of, and I just thought, when I actually want to access the money, when it comes to the crunch next year when I'm 55 and I need to access this money or put it into drawdown or whatever, if I'm going to have problems communicating with these people, I just didn't want that at all. So I've been fighting to get this transferred over. So how I did it, basically, the reason I've been getting problems with this is I tried to transfer this over years ago. It was in two parts. At the time, it was about 50,000. One part was 20,000. One part was 30,000. That's how much that's how much the pot was at the time. And this was about 7 years ago, maybe 6 years ago. And I tried to transfer it over to my SIPP. They turned around to me and said, no, you can have the one part, which is the non-defined contributions part, because that's under 30,000, and the government guidelines state that you have to have paid for regulated financial advice to transfer anything more than 30,000. I sort of briefly looked that up and thought, oh, okay, fair enough, I'll just have the 20,000. So they transferred that over. That came into my SIPP. Several years ago, I managed to more than double that by self-investing in my SIPP, which I was very happy about. But all the time I've been really miffed about not being able to transfer over the other one. So I looked into it in more detail. Since then, over the years, we've had ChatGPT has come into the fore. And it's been, excuse all this noise by the way, it sounds like someone's trying to break into the caravan. We've put a cover on the caravan to stop people banging on our bloody door saying, will you sell your caravan? Constant, every couple of times a week. And so we put this cover on, and I've had to unzip half the front of it, so it's all flapping about in the wind. So that's what that noise is. So they were resisting, saying, no, you can't transfer this over because it's got a defined contribution element to it. So I got ChatGPT to write a strongly worded email saying, can you explain exactly what this is? Because I don't believe that I have to have financial advice to do this. It's only for defined benefit pensions. When you look on the government guidelines, it says quite clearly, defined contribution is no problem, defined benefit is a problem. You have to have financial advice. So then they turned around and said, oh, well, there's a defined benefit underpin to it. I didn't understand what that meant. So I looked into it, and they still wouldn't explain it. So I got an even more strongly worded letter, which, again, ChatGPT helped me do, this time threatening the Ombudsman if they didn't come back with more detail. They then came back and said, oh, we've had a look at your valuation, and the defined benefit underpin in this circumstance won't be triggered. This was after lots of going back and forth. In the meantime, HL had turned around to me and said, oh, well, even if you didn't take financial advice, we may require it anyway. Even if it's not a legal requirement, we might require it anyway. So another strongly worded letter to them said, you absolutely will not do this. This is going against the rules of the Financial Conduct Authority, and we'll report you to them if you carry on with this line of reasoning. So anyway, they finally backed down. The other company still resisted and just ignored me for ages, just didn't bother contacting me. I was emailing them, wrote to them. HL was trying to contact them to do a transfer, and they were just ignoring me for ages. Got really, really fed up with it. So finally I spoke to somebody there and I said, I need this looking at, and I need this dealing with professionally. Finally they came back, and they deemed that, so to get financial advice, regulated financial advice, it's likely to cost me upward of £2,000 and a possible ongoing fee to these people, to a financial advisor, for telling me not to transfer my pension. because that's probably what they'd say, because they don't want to have anything to do with it. Anything to do with it. As soon as they hear anything with defined benefit, financial advisors go, no, don't do that, don't do that. Even if it's not in your interest, they just don't want to be party to it because of all the regulations and everything else. It turns out the defined benefit underpin would have kicked in if there had been a massive stock market crash and my value had fallen down to like next to nothing. They would have guaranteed that I receive about £2,000. Which, funny enough, is what I would have ended up paying an advisor for. So they finally agreed that it wouldn't be worth me taking financial advice, and the law doesn't state that I have to take financial advice either, because it's not an actual defined benefit pension. It doesn't pay a final salary or anything like that. There's no guarantee. It still fluctuates with the stock market. There's no guarantee income from it at all. It depends on how it performs over the years. Finally, after lots of toing and froing, verifying my identity, as they always like to play that game, even though they've had all of that, they've had copies of my passport, driving licence and everything else. They're just trying to be awkward. They got all of this, and then I sent all the paperwork off. HL then sent all the paperwork back to me saying, no, you have to send it directly to the other provider. So I did that. Twice, so I ended up paying about £5 to get it signed for and guaranteed delivery. Finally got it there, got a letter back the other day via an email with an attachment letter saying we're now going through the process of disinvesting all your investments. Once this has gone through, we'll then send all the money over to your HL SIPP. And I thought, brilliant. I thought I'll hold fire, shouting about it until it's actually in my SIPP. Then I get another letter saying, we still need all your transfer. It's just back and forth, this constant rubbish. HL this time, faffing about. So another strongly worded email to HL. Finally, I get confirmation from the previous supplier or previous provider that they've sent the money and that it should be in my account within a few days. And I updated this on a video a couple of days ago. The other day, I think it was yesterday, literally last night, the money appeared in my HL account. So it's there. The money's there now. I'm going to just show you a screenshot. Okay, so I've got my screen up now, and so you can now see I've got £161,057. Now, 1,000 of that is in my other account, which is this one, where when I sold my boat, I transferred 1,000 straight into an investment which I particularly favour, and I only did that on the 3rd of July. That's earned 7.41%, £74.12 since the 3rd of July. So we're now at the end of July, so it's about a month basically. It's earned me £74, 7%, which is pretty good. So and that's my top investment, which I use on my SIPP as well. So as I said, 1,000 of that total is in there. So that's not in my SIPP, but that's invested, and that's all going towards the pot. But my total SIPP, as you can see now, is just short of 160,000. So when I've been talking about 150,000, it's gained 10,000 in on the stock market since I've been doing these videos. Now, I know I haven't realised those gains yet, but there's not a lot I can do about it. I can't get the money into an ISA, I can't get it into a savings account. All I could do is withdraw it all and just have it as cash on the SIPP if I didn't want to be exposed to any stock market drops. People go, the stock market's going to crash. Well, they've been saying that for years. I'm willing to take that risk. So now I've got £93,150 available to invest. That's sitting as cash. That's earning about 3% or so. It might be more now because it's hit a higher tier from HL. So I have been receiving, I had 20,000 on there, and I have been receiving interest, about £52 I was getting a month on 20,000. So I'll probably just leave that in there for a little while, just getting interest, and see how we get on. So I've got, half and half really, half invested and half in, or just over half in interest. So we'll see. So the reason why I wanted to transfer it over, I've told you the reason why, is because they're just a nightmare to deal with, and also HL gives me much more flexibility. They've got loads of different options on drawdown and also lots more a wider range of investments for me to play with. So I think I've covered everything there. Why I've done it also is if you don't know the channel, my name is Steve. I'm basically looking to retire next year or stop working next year. I may be looking into other forms of passive income, but I'm going to be accessing my pension pot, which is now 160,000. It was 150. We're going to be selling our property, my wife and I, and hopefully realising about 100,000 equity, putting it all together, and then buying a property in France, and then toing and froing between the UK and France until we can get a visa to stay there longer. And that's a work in progress at the moment. I'll update that on a further video. So I've got an exciting new series that I'm planning as well, starting with probably the next video, looking at a crafty way of potentially increasing my pension pot, and I'll cover that in a second. Before that, I wanted to thank Defeffel Blog for your super thanks since the last video. Thank you so much for your ongoing support. I really appreciate it. A massive supporter of the channel, so thank you very much. And also a huge thank you to Brace Barbarian. I'm assuming your name is Jason because of your little thumbnail. If I've got that wrong, I do apologise, but thank you so much for your £20 super thanks, which was going towards the caravan cover, which we've now put on. So much appreciated, mate. Thank you very much. So yeah, I wanted to talk about the series that I'm going to be starting, and hopefully it'll be a bit of fun really. What I'm going to do is that £1,000 that you saw invested, where I've managed to make about 74 quid, I'm going to take 500 of that, and I'm going to look at ways of increasing that and see if I can beat the other 500. So we're going to do a bit of a race to see if I can make some extra money to put into my pension pot. So I'm looking forward to doing the video for that next time, which will hopefully be soon. Anyway, I hope all that's made sense about the transfer of the pension, and hopefully giving you any detail. If you've got any questions, then fire them at me. I'm not an expert, but far from it. But what I do know is that if I had kept it where it was, I wouldn't have gained anything at all, and I certainly haven't lost anything by transferring it over. I've actually gained by not having to pay out for a financial advisor who probably would have told me not to do it, just to cover their own backside, and I'd have been back where I started. So hopefully that's been entertaining, and if you did want to follow our journey going forward, then please subscribe to the channel. I'd appreciate it. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.